Hey friends, Brie and Jer here from Oh Hello Home. If you're new here, welcome to our channel, and if you're not, well, then welcome back. It's been a while since we've shared anything on here, but we're back and we're excited to start sharing some new home projects. Today we are getting started off with our powder room. So here's the space before. As you can see, our powder room is pretty small, and this deep green shade made the room feel even smaller. Our goal with this space was to make it feel a bit brighter, more spacious, and I think we accomplished that, though you can let us know what you think in the comments at the end of the video. Like any home project, we started with prep work. We decided we wanted to add some wall detailing and a two-tone look to this room, so we first taped off where the two paint colors would meet. Then we went ahead and removed any of the hardware on the walls, sanded down all the walls, and wiped away any dust before applying the paint. Now, we would usually prime this entire space, however, we purchased the higher quality paint at Sherwin-Williams, and they said we wouldn't need to, and we can confirm that we did not need to. It really did cover the darker paint so well. We were really impressed. By the way, I know I keep saying we, but really this was all Jer, as you can see. I was 8 months pregnant here, so I really wasn't much help creating this space. I just kind of helped out with the vision of it, but yeah, just ignore the we's. The color we're using on the bottom section is Sea Salt by Sherwin-Williams. I absolutely love this color. It's definitely a different choice for us. We've tended to stick to neutrals in most rooms, but we just loved this color and felt it would be a great fit for the space, and I absolutely love it. For the top bar, we decided to go with something a little bit more decorative. These wood railings are a bit more expensive to go with, but because this was such a small space, we would only need one piece of the railing, and we decided that was worth it to make the room feel a little bit more special. Jer first measured the wall and then made marks on the wood to mark where he was going to make his first cut. Making the cuts is actually quite a bit more tricky than you'd think, because you have to be careful about making sure the design on the rail is cut accurately so they fit together properly. It might sound easy, but I swear it is a little bit more complicated than other 45-degree miter cuts that we've made in the past, just because of the design on this wood. So I would recommend really just taking your time with this, measuring, remeasuring, double checking where you're about to cut before making your final cuts. Once those cuts were all made, it was time to get the wood bar onto the wall. We went ahead and secured it to the wall using our nail gun, and then we got to working filling all the nail holes with wood glue and sealing the seams with some caulk. And just a little tip, prior to nailing up the wood rail, we tested a discarded piece of the wood railing with our nail gun. I recommend doing this in case the wood is too thin or fragile for the nail gun and it splits when it's nailed to the wall. It's just a good way to make sure that it's going to work properly. We left that to set and dry overnight, and the next day we began priming the wood rail as well as the top section. To ensure you don't lose any of the design elements on the wood railing, I do recommend that you use a brush like this and just apply very thin coats of primer and paint and really push the paint in to the grooves of the design. For the slats on the bottom section of the wall, Jer had actually measured out where those slats would all go prior to painting, and he wrote down all of those measurements. At this point in the project, he went ahead and made all those cuts using his miter saw. These cuts were very easy and straightforward and really took no time at all. Now, you may notice that not all the spaces between the slats are 100% the same all the way around the room, like on the wall next to the door, but it actually does look quite intentional. The reason I mention this is just because small bathrooms can have small walls like this, and you may have to customize or tweak your design a little bit to allow for some discrepancies. We could have made the spaces between the slats smaller and had more slats on all of the walls, but I honestly think that would have looked quite busy, so instead we just went ahead and added a little bit more space on certain areas, and sure, it's a little bit larger, but it actually looks very, very good still. To stick the slats onto the wall, we first used some liquid nails on each piece and pressed each piece into place. And then we went ahead and just used our nail gun again to really secure each piece onto the wall. Then we went ahead and we used some polyfilla to fill in the nail holes. We just started using this product recently and we've both been really impressed by it. Shout out to the helpful Home Depot person who recommended this. It really is a great product. One way you can make these projects a bit more affordable is by using more affordable materials like PVC. PVC is quite affordable, it's easy to put up, and it covers up nicely with paint. We'll definitely be using it again for other home projects. For the top wall section, we used Bear's Swiss Coffee, which isn't the same as Benjamin Moore's Swiss Coffee paint. We actually used Benjamin Moore's in our previous bedroom, and I will link that video for you guys if you want to see. Bear's paint is a little bit brighter, and I'd say it's a little bit more on the yellow side. Both colors are absolutely beautiful though. I really do love them both. This paint from Bear was a little bit of a lower grade paint, and you can really tell in comparison to how the Sherwin-Williams paint applied. It did get a little bit streaky, there were some drip lines. It wasn't a big issue, but it's just something we noticed. We ended up having to do 3 coats of this paint to really get a nice and even finish. So if you have a little bit of extra money to spare, I would recommend getting the higher grade paints. It does seem to make a big difference. To finish off all the painting, we just had to tape off the trim pieces and the top wall section, and then we just went in with a little bit more of Sherwin-Williams sea salt to cover up the white PVC slats and the top wood bar. We let that dry overnight, and the next day it was time to get all of the finishing touches in place. We first got all the hardware back onto the walls. While I may eventually switch out the hardware for brass hardware, I actually don't mind how the silver looks, and I feel like it really does work with the space. Let me know what you think. Do you think I should switch it out for brass, or do you think the silver looks good? I'm kind of leaning to the silver. While we kept the hardware the same, there was one thing we knew we wanted to replace, and that was the mirror. We swapped out the large square mirror for this very simple black framed round mirror, and I'm so happy we did. I feel like it makes the space a little bit more modern and light and just clean feeling. I really like it. To finish up the space, we just added back in some soap and hand lotion and a few decorative items like this picture, flowers, and as a reminder, here is the space before. And here is the completed powder room. I hope you guys enjoyed today's room transformation. If you did, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We have more transformations in the works. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.